welcome back to CosmoMuse Tarot and to another Friday Insight reading where we look at your yes, no, maybe questions. So before we jump into the 4 piles we have today, just the typical house cleaning, the way you phrase your question, make sure that if you were to get a yes, that would feel positive to you. And then also we are going to be initially, there's 2 parts to this reading. We're initially going to be doing some investigation into the energy around your question. So keep in mind what it is that you'd want sort of insight into around your question beyond just that black and white yes, no. And then the second part of the reading will get a very clear yes, no, maybe for you. Okay, so the 4 piles we have, pile 1 is a moss agate. Pile 2, we have Aragonite. Pile 3 is Moonstone. And pile 4, we have Malachite. Okay, you are welcome to pause here to tune into these piles, the stones, maybe it's the number, the stone, just a general sense of being drawn in somewhere. Whatever it is that helps you to choose your pile, feel free to pause here to take time to get the pile that is drawing you in, which will have your aligned message. If you have more than one question, you can choose different piles for each of those. And I will see you in your readings. Timestamps are in the descriptions. All right, see you guys. Hello, pile 1, my moss agate pile. We are going to dive into the first part of your reading, which is kind of just investigating the energy around your question. So it's not answering the yes, no aspect. We're just digging in for some insight. Before we get to the cards, your stone, tuning into your pile, just some intuitive hits that came for you is just this sort of kind of just a sense of refinement, getting certain things aligned, getting your T's crossed, I's dotted, that kind of thing. There may be, and you know, you may come to this reading at a totally different time than when it is uploaded, but when it goes live, we will be in Mercury retrograde, so that may have something to do with what I was feeling of like really needing to double and triple check something going on around your question. Not to say that there's a no here, but there's just, you know, cosmically some confusing energy. So just to be thorough, I guess is what I was feeling here. Okay, so let's look at your cards though and see what else comes out about just some general energy around your question. Happiness, that's a beautiful card to see always. When I see the sun, that always makes me think of alignment. So again, that thing of like, whatever you're trying to get like really nicely and fine-tuned alignment around, maybe something that would bring you happiness, or you're feeling the energy, like it doesn't bother you to be doing the refining, that actually is like something you enjoy. Whatever hits for you, something about that though, that alignment coming in. Embracing. Yeah, this is about, I feel this connection to like sometimes stones that have a lot of swirling kind of patterning to them can, to me, give this feeling of like something's a little nebulous. And that then comes through in this card, like something to you feels nebulous, but under the surface it's like actually there's a lot of fertility being brought in. It's just hard to understand that when you feel a little flooded. It's interesting, like there's quite a difference between the feel of this card and the feel of this card, but they're both water oriented. So I'm kind of feeling like the water maybe right now is a little bit murky and still, but maybe there is this understanding that like that's just how it is, and certain things are organizing under the surface and you're just kind of like waiting. But any little thing you can do to like double check things, be thorough about things, will bring in that alignments that will then get the waters flowing again and the flow going again and that joy kind of circulating again. That's sort of how this feels. Then adventure. Maybe that's like the ultimate goal, is to get to like some freedom, some adventure. Yeah, feeling sort of anticipatory about this. Like the time hasn't felt right. There's something you're waiting for, but you can kind of sense that there are things organizing under the surface. It's just hard for you to see or understand what that is, how it's organizing, if it's ever going to finish organizing, kind of thing. Let's get some tarot cards for each of these. Okay. Five of Pentacles. Yeah, this definitely confirms that this is more of where you feel right now, or something about your question is more in this mode of like waiting, and this is what you're anticipating and wanting, but it's not like there's a scarcity of happiness. You're not feeling that, and it's like, how do I get there? There's something under, whether or not that's directly about your question, that's influencing something going on in connection to why you're even asking this question. But let's see what the embracing, like my sense is like patience, but let's see what the tarot says. Yeah, Six of Swords, absolutely. You are moving to different shores. Peace of mind is coming in. Patient. Anything you feel you need to do to kind of move yourself into different environments, different circumstances, anything you can do to really claim your own originality, your own spectrum of colors more fully, and step away from things that don't support that. The more that sort of underwater organization, the fertility that's kind of coming in will be helped by that. But my sense of patience was correct. Like there are, and I think you've probably already done some work in terms of like coming, embracing that it's time to do things that give you better peace of mind, that take you to better environments, where you are more capable of being you. And then we've got 10 of Wands. This actually changes a little bit of how I felt about adventure. I think you've been on maybe you've been on a whole journey to do just this, to get to a place where you can have more self-acceptance and more claiming of your originality, and more recognition of where that originality would feel a greater sense of peace to be. Like what environments, communities, people, trajectories would make you feel that. So I feel like you've been on a journey to understand that, and it has been a heavy one. It's been filled with adventures. It's been filled with, a lot of interesting, strange, wonderful, terrible, the whole gamut of things. And it's like you're at that very ending point where there's just like one more step, but like you're just holding so much weight, and that feels like that kind of trudging through the mud. But this is saying like those flood plains are about to go out. Like just hang in there, no matter how heavy something feels. When you take your, like as you end this adventure, this journey, The next one you will step into will be a much happier one because you've done so much work in this one. In the journey you're just kind of ending is what it feels like. Okay, let's take a look at the second part of this reading, which is getting a really clear yes, no, maybe. And because these are collective readings and there's a lot of people in each pile, for me, for the way I read, I like to feel that there's the potential for different outcomes for all the different people here. I mean, not a different outcome for each of you. I mean, your outcome will be yours, but the way I'm reading outcomes, I want some choices. So I'm going to create 3 piles for you to now choose from to get your really clear yes, no, maybe. So there's pile 1. Pile 2. Pile 3. So we are going to roll a dice, a 12-sided dice, where 1 through 5 are no, 6 and 7 are maybe, and 8 through 12 are yes. And then we will look at your card to get some insight into the answer you got. My sense, I always like to leave a positive note, because whatever happens is, you know, our higher self, our higher powers, the powers watching over us, it's all for our best interest, even if it's not the outcome you hoped for. So my sense is that if you don't get an outcome you hope for in the pile you choose, it has something to do with timing. It has something to do with like finishing out this adventure you're currently on, where you're in that exhausted last step. But my sense is no matter what answer you get here, the next journey is going to be very, a lot lighter than the one that you've just been through. However that connects to the question you're answering, however that makes sense. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to look at these 3 piles, fill into them, and feel which one is drawing you in for your aligned answer. Okay, if you need more time, you can pause here. Otherwise, I'm starting with pile 1. So let's roll your dice. 12. This is a very, very strong yes. It does, you know, the dice is a spectrum for me, even though 1 through 5 are no's. Like the 1 is a hard no and the 5 is it's not looking good, probably no. And so same with the yes, the 8 is like probably yes, and 12 is like hell yes. So that's hopefully good news for you guys. And your card is Penguin, Diamond Light Activation. Light activations and new energies are coming your way. Be open to receiving and welcoming them in. That makes me think of that happiness card with the dolphins and the sun. Like, I think you are very, very close to stepping through that new like the diamond light activation to me is like that new portal into the new journey, into that journey that's a lot lighter and a lot happier because of work you've been through in this past sort of adventure journey. So you're like really, really close. It is a yes, and you're about to take that leap into the new thing. Okay, pile 2. Let's get your answer. We'll roll your dice first. And you have a 9, so that is also a yes. So far so good. And you have Swan, graceful transformation. Soften your heart and find your flow. So the journey that I was talking about in the investigation of the energies around this reading could have been something for you about feeling yourself move from ugly duckling to seeing yourself as the swan. This feels like a very personal journey you've been on, and you're just like one step away from being able to really transform being able to see yourself as beautiful and elegant and really attracting in flow states and this ability to kind of move with life and move with your energy and move with the energy of, you know, of the moment in a really graceful, swan-like, beautiful, elegant way. So again, you know, maybe not quite as close to that new beginning as the first pile, but still like really, really getting there, really coming into the end of this journey into like being able to see yourself in a very transformed way. And very close then to like a new adventure, a new journey that's a little more happy and light. Okay, pile 3, let's get your answer. You have a 3, so you have a no here. Before we look at your card, I just want to reiterate, it just means that whatever you asked about, it's like, to me, it feels like the timing isn't correct. This is more of like a timing thing. Like there's still something you're closing out about some kind of journey or adventure you have been in. And so it's like not quite the right time to start focusing on whatever it is this question is about. So for you, you have Snake, Kundalini rising. Channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. Yeah, so I feel like you need to drop a little bit more into the present and what is at this moment and really feel into what is transforming in your life, because things are still transforming. Whatever you asked about will also transform. Like whatever you asked about right now won't be something you're concerned about asking about once you've completed this journey of transformation. And to me, this feels like the journey you're finishing is one of like reconnecting to your personal energy. That felt like that 6 of Swords we saw, where it's like really transforming into claiming what your particular energy is, what your true natural essence is, and rebirthing to really honor that, respect it, and take that energy to where it is supported more. So there's something like, yeah, really transforming about how you connect to yourself, hence how you connect to your vitality. So big transformation still on the way, which means what you've asked about, it's just not the right time. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. I hope this made sense and answered, gave you some sort of at least insight and answer into what you brought here. If so, I always appreciate kind and thoughtful comments, all of the other supportive things like likes and shares and subscribes. But beyond that, just grateful that you are here. It is supporting my channel just to be here. So thank you for that. And thank you for letting me read for you. And good luck on ending this journey. No matter the answer you got, you're ending like a really potent, powerful journey. So stick in there, hang in there. All right, see you guys. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your yes, no, maybe reading. You guys picked this beautiful Aragonite. And I do want to tune into, you know, I like to focus in on your stone and sort of how things feel as I'm preparing your pile for intuitive hits before we get into your cards. And my sense, I was just feeling just this like, you know, I hate to take favorites, but it's like, I don't know that word, the favorite, like favoriting coming up here. There's something about your question that's like special, that's a little beautiful and unique at the same time, and a little bit favored. Doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a yes, but there is something really beautifully unique going on about the underlying energy here. Okay, so we are going to jump into some cards that just are investigating the general energy around your question. It's not giving you a yes, no, maybe, but just giving me some insight into some energies around, around your question. Okay, so we've got purification, Beautiful. This card always reminds me of like the smell after summer rain, really like amplifying the growth and the freshness, but sort of clearing the air at the same time. It's like there's a lot, you know, that summer energy, there's always like a lot of activity and a lot of energy and sometimes a lot of drama. And so those summer storms that come through have this like maybe clearing effect of any of the drama to really reconnect to the beauty of the season. So there's something which would connect to that feeling of like there was something sort of beautiful about this question, special. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Change, interesting. There's a real match in the color of the balloon and your stone too, which makes this card feel a little amplified, and it's under your stone anyway. So something changing here too. I don't know, for some of you this question could have to do with travel or a move or a change in something in your life. But it's like maybe you need a clearing to happen to feel that sense of direction. Like some, you know, when I think of a hot air balloon, it's like it has this great perspective, but it's not always like, it also feels like it's just sort of like wandering in the sky, like where is it going, you know? So there may be that sense of like needing a purification, some sort of summer rain type sense of something, you know, metaphorically to come through, that helps you get clarity of like where you're going with this change or what the change means to you. Yeah, just something about, yeah, purification needed to really get this in alignment for you. Okay, and then we have release. Yeah, that makes sense. Something, I mean, obviously with a change, you're letting go of something. And so maybe what that purification is about, when I talked about like drama being cleared away, maybe there's something, whatever you're having to let go of in order to go through the change. Even if you're excited about the change and the change feels special and beautiful, you're still letting go of certain things that have memories and attachments and beauty in their own right. And so I think this is more about a process, just allowing grief and releases and emotions to move through you and clear in order for you to really feel that energy to charge into the change. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling for sure, is like, you know, this is change is a process. So allow yourself to feel the things you need to feel, because you need that purification to get more clear and more assertive about this change. My dog is like standing under my desk. I've never seen him do this. He's just like staring at me. What is it, Indy? Do you have something to tell this group too? What's going on? I don't know. See if something comes up with that. We've got Page of Cups. Oh, he took off with that. So Page of Cups means something to our little animal creature that wanted to participate. Yeah, this feels like that need to lighten up, to be able to get to that place where you're reconnecting to the beauty of what is happening right now. So the importance of the releases and feeling what you need to feel is that by doing that, you will get very eager and excited and reconnect to your heart and the excitement of what is coming. Then we have 10 of Cups. Yeah, wherever you're going, whatever this change has to do with is really tapping into what this felt like special and beautiful. Like, trust that. It is really, yeah, you must have put in a lot of trust, a lot of experience, a lot of something to be calling in whatever this change is, but it feels very special and favored. And then, oh, Empress. yeah, whatever, whatever it is that, this is another importance of allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel about whatever might be changing out of your life, being sort of left behind, even if it's not necessarily like a left behind, but just like a change in how something is connected to your life because of a change in your situation. Part of allowing yourself to release and feel the things beyond that, creating a clearing for you to reconnect to what's beautiful about where you're going, is that, thinking about seasons and nature. So like in the autumn, when plant life dies and falls back into the ground, that is the exact food that's needed for earth and fertility, to have energy to create, energy to be fertile for the new things coming in. So not only is that release and feeling the feelings needed to clear the air and to get back to the present and the excitement of what's coming, but that's also feeding. That's also creating certain fuel needed for what you will create in whatever this change is. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let's now move into the second part of your reading, where we are going to get your clear yes, no, maybes. And I like to, for the way I read, I just feel like because there's collectives here, there should be options in outcomes. So we're going to create 3 new piles for you to choose from to get your yes, no, maybe. So not everyone gets the same outcome, even though you're kind of on the same journey. It's like you're in different places, or, just slightly different timelines, that kind of thing. So I just feel like different outcomes should be possible. And okay, so we're going to tune into these 3 piles. You're going to choose one that feels most aligned to you with your correct answer. And then I'm going to roll a 12-sided dice where 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 is maybe, 8 through 12 is yes. Before we do that, so I'll roll the dice for each pile, and then we'll look at your card to get a little bit of insight into the answer you got, why you got what you got. But I always also just like to reiterate in thinking about the first portion of this reading that, like, even if you were to get a no or a maybe to your question, my sense is that, your higher self and higher powers that watch over you are always pushing you towards what you need. So a no to one thing is always a yes to something else that's more aligned. So if you get a no in this one, my sense is just that, like, the timing is off, or in this case, because of the specialness I felt, it's like maybe it's not a good enough question. Like, you have to think of some way to make your question more beautiful to you, right? That kind of thing is coming through. But we'll look at each pile and get some insight as we go through them. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds of peace and quiet to fill into these piles, and then we'll start with pile 1. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, we'll start with pile 1. So let's roll your dice. You have a 4, so there is a no for you guys. But let's look at what your card has to say about that. Flamingo, Unity Heart. You are being called to work on collective healing. Yeah, so this is tuning into that, like, that need to really go through some feeling your feelings, going through that purification. It's like that's a step that needs to be taken. Something, even if that doesn't feel like it completely connects to what you asked about, there's something in your life where you're needing to feel some feelings and move them through you and allow that to kind of purify something for you. create sort of food for different type of growth. It's like that's a step you need to go through right now. And once that happens, you're going to have more clarity about maybe why this question wasn't right for right now. But despite that, when you go through that step, that kind of purification step, something, you know, like you're really going to reconnect to your heart in a really light, beautiful, positive way. Okay, and about like a beautiful change coming. Okay, pile 2, let's roll your dice. You guys also got a 4, but maybe a slightly different reason for that no. Starfish, intuition, listen to your soul's truth. Think less, feel more. It's kind of the same thing here. And look at that star. This is reminding you still, though, that there's something special going on. Despite getting a no here, there's something special and beautiful going on. But this is saying, like, it may be that you, to process your feelings, really need to have awareness of how in your mind you are in, you know, how in your mind you are right now, and that you need to shift into emotion and processing some emotion. And same thing from pile 1. It's like once you do that, you'll have a complete shift of, you know, it will help you to see that change that's happening, that there's a change happening, and that's going to change what your question even is here. Or that, you know, that maybe there isn't really even a question for you here, whatever it is, but something is, by getting more in touch with intuition, moving out of head into processing some feelings, letting go of certain things. It's just something shifting. This feels like something's shifting in you, specifically inside of you, that would affect this question. Okay, pile 3, let's get your dice answer. Ooh, that one was nice. Okay, 9, so you guys have a yes. And your animal is tiger, divine timing. Good things come to those who wait. So my sense is that you are further along in this process than the other 2 piles. Maybe you're coming into, because the tiger to me, because it's a night, it has a deep association with night. That's kind of when it goes out and hunts. And the night to me is yin, and yin is emotion. So my sense is that you've kind of been through that purification and release process, and now you're waiting for that shift, that change, and the time is right. That change is coming. That shift you've been anticipating is ready to happen. So yeah, that is okay. So that's the 3 piles. That's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that brought some insight and clarity for whatever you asked about. And yeah, good luck with whatever is going on in your life, with all the things. If this resonated, I always appreciate the support with likes and shares and subscribes. Definitely always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. But regardless, just grateful for you being here. I always love sharing readings and cards. It's just, I don't know, it's just like brings me a lot of joy. So thank you for being here and letting me read for you. And I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are. All right, see you guys. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your Friday Insight with your yes, no, maybe questions. Before we get into your cards, I just want to bring up intuitive hits that came as I was preparing your pile and sort of honing in on your stone. There was definitely something very kind of deep, dark, and mysterious. And in the dark, I don't necessarily mean like a bad dark, more of that yin, mysterious dark. There's something to like dig into here. I feel like the word under came up, and it's like, initially the word underhanded came, but I was like, that doesn't feel quite full enough. That under felt more resonant to me than the full word, and I was like, oh, maybe it's like under, what's under the surface? What are the motives under the surface here, either of someone or people around you in relation to this question, or your own motives, needing to get more clear about where your motives are coming from. And it can be really beautiful work to kind of like dive into the psyche, dive into certain patterns we have, really get more psychological awareness of things, more awareness of like sort of channels of power that affect things. Yeah, there's something under the surface though with this question that needs some digging and investigation. Yeah, so let's look at your cards. So we're first going to do some cards that are investigating energy around your question. And then in a second part of the reading, we'll do some cards and dice to get your exact yes, no, maybe. Okay, so we've got thriving, which is a really positive and beautiful card. Let's look at the other cards. Patience. I actually want to see all the cards. Community, patience, thriving. It's very interesting. I don't know. I'm really struggling to feel into how this connects to what I felt from your stone and preparing. I don't know if maybe you need some community support in some way around this question. Yeah, that actually feels nice. What kind of support could you reach out for in regard to what you've asked? And how might that help the energy around your question feel more supported, which then allows something to thrive a little better, or just you in general to thrive a little better by feeling supported? Because there's something you're needing to be patient with here. And that makes me feel into that thing of like not all is as it seems, getting into that like needing to look under the surface of things. Also being in community that feels supportive and like support systems that support you is a good way we can sort of like bounce our thoughts off of others and get a whole new, like whole different types of dimensions of insight and thoughts and ideas and connections that can really help us to see things in a multitude of ways. And that's maybe something that's needed here in order to see things in a more deep, profound way, in a deeper way. Maybe there would be insights you could gain by reaching out for some support about things going on that you wouldn't know had you not kind of looked for some support. If you don't know what that support would be for you, there's all sorts of communities to join out in the world, even online, right? There's even like helplines we can call into if maybe the support you feel you need needs to be like anonymous for you, like you don't want to bring awareness to something here. But yeah, I feel that importance of needing to reach out for some support in order to help you feel supported, thriving, and in order to give you different ways of looking at something that help you to see more deeply into what's going on. But yeah, but also some patience. Okay, let's get your cards. Your tarot cards, by the way. So Lovers, Decision, Is there a decision that you need to make here? Or this could be having to do with a love relationship. Ooh, I don't know why. That's so weird that I put this card down here, because usually I go in order, and all of a sudden I'm like, that's weird. Why did I put that there? But that's meaningful. That it meant to be with community. There may be a community you're actually leaving, like a community you've been a part of hasn't added to your sense of thriving, and you need to make some decisions about that, like some awareness around that, and decisions about maybe like different boundaries with some kind of community. Or maybe there's just like some forgiveness needing, like you need to put down a dagger, a sense of like needing justice or revenge, or to always be right in something in order to plug back into a community that does foster thriving. Whichever one connects to you, if that community feels important to you, you may need to be a bigger person. If a community feels like you're kind of at a point of no return with it, it's time to leave it. But yeah, like a decision to be made about what's best for your well-being and thriving. Do you need to put a dagger down, or do you need to move on? Kind of thing. Yeah, something going on around that. And it could be, yeah, worth, reaching out to other support systems outside of this community to get some feedback, to talk, to feel still, like I said before we did tarot, to feel supported by something and someone that can give you feedback and different ideas and different ways of looking at what's going on under the surface here for you. Okay, and then patience, 7 of Swords. Yeah, there's something about you needing to be able to be more you, more authentic to who you are, and not so affected by a community, by someone else, by anything external. So this could go either way, like maybe you needing to stand up and be more who you are in a community, or you needing to leave a community and find different communities that are more aligned to who you are and more create better that are more nourishing to who you really are inside and need to be more fully. Yeah, however that feels to you. So very interesting. Okay, so we are going to move on to the second portion of this reading, which is looking at your aligned yes, no, maybe. So for this, I am making 3 different piles because it's a collective. I love the idea of there being able to be different outcomes. So I'm creating 3 piles within this pile. So I'm going to give you some silent time to tune into which pile you feel drawing you in, which will have your aligned yes, no, maybe. Once you've chosen your pile, I'll go through them systematically, where we will roll a 12-sided dice, where 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 maybe, 8 through 12 yes. And then we will look at your card to get insight into into the answer you got. But my sense is that whatever answer you get, even if it's not one you hope for, your higher self and higher powers are always looking out for you. So it's for your best, whatever answer you get. And my sense here is that, like, if you get an answer you're not hoping for, is just like, as you do more kind of like digging under the surface of things here, different things you learn, different insight you gain, and things you do to come more into your sense of authentic self will be shifting something about your question if you end up getting a no, which will make it, something else, like a different path a little better, even though we don't know what that is. The no here is a yes to something more enriching, I feel like, for you guys. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to tune into these piles and choose yours. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, we'll start with pile 1. So we're going to roll your dice. And you have an 11, which is a definite yes, but also so fascinating, because the moment I sort of said, like, I'm going to give you a moment of silence, and that minute I became silent, I looked up at the clock and it said 11:11. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting sign. And then you guys got an 11. So there's something like what I would say here is keep your mind and thoughts positive, because they are manifesting things very quickly. It's like you're in a wormhole right now, in a portal where things are incubating. And so like everything you think matters very greatly. So keep positive thoughts going. Okay, let's see what your card says though. Butterfly emerging. Take the leap of faith. Yeah, so something's ready here for you to make that decision to leap towards whatever feels right for you, to claim your yes. If you have a message you're feeling you need to spread, because 11 can also be like a message we need to share. And then we have butterflies that are pollinating here, like, share your message if you have one too. Okay, pile 2, let's get your answer. What? You guys, that's so crazy. You also have an 11. I'm going to lose my mind if pile 3 gets an 11. I can't imagine that would happen, but maybe. But anyway, 11 again. So aside from the butterfly message, same things I said going into turning over the card. Keep your mind positive. Things are like you're in a portal at the moment, and things are incubating, and how you think is important right now. So polar bear, nurture. Allow any anxieties and worries to be gently released and offer up to be healed. Yeah, so some of those kind of more difficult things we saw earlier in the first part of the reading, you may still be kind of making, like with the butterfly, I feel like you're on that precipice of like ready to make the decision, feeling clear about what needs to be done. For you guys, I feel like you're like a half a step behind, where you're still needing to like feel some things and come to terms with some things, but you're still getting like a really positive yes. Really pay attention to synchronicities that come through that have messages for you. I actually feel like you guys need to receive a message versus this pile needing to share a message. Yeah, listen to like really beautiful healing messages coming through. Do things to nurture yourself. But there is like a really beautiful yes here. Okay, pile 3, let's do your dice. 4. So you guys have a no. But like I said, a no is a yes to something else. And for this pile, I feel like a no means a yes to something that's more nourishing to you, more supportive of you. Okay, so let's look at your card, Eagle, ancestral healing. Your ancestors are holding space for you to heal your past. So you're not alone with whatever's going on with your question. There's a lot of support around you. So like I said with pile 2, really pay attention to messages coming in. Really pay attention to synchronicities, because ancestors are all around you. They're really protecting you. And I feel like by getting a no here, that is a protection. And it's because your ancestors are orchestrating something much better and really wanting you to get more in touch with you, with your individuality, your uniqueness, more self-acceptance kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this was insightful for whatever insights came and whatever answer you got. I hope it was helpful and insightful for you. Yeah, if it did resonate, I always appreciate support in the form of likes and shares and subscribes. Also, always very grateful for kind and thoughtful comments, but regardless, just, really grateful that you guys are here. That is supportive of my channel, and I just really enjoy doing this. So thank you for letting me read for you. And yeah, I hope to see you in future readings. Have a beautiful day wherever you are. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your Friday Insight, where we're going to get initially in the reading, we're going to be doing some investigation and insight into energy around your question. And then we'll do a second part of the reading, which will be getting your actual yes, no, maybe. So I like to jump into intuitive hits I got as I was preparing your pile and sort of tuning into your stone. So for you guys, Pile 4, it's so literal, but that's what kept sticking, is like having your stone laid like this. It was like pointing at something. And for some reason that really stuck out to me, even though that was like so literal and obvious, but that's just what it was. Like something is like, really tap into your awareness, because like the answer is already pointing at something. Or what something you need to get your answer clarified is already being pointed out. It's like you need to just maybe slow down and observe or something, or like do some introspection, or I don't know. Let's look at your cards and see if it gives more insight into what that is, or just different insight. Protection. So whatever is going on around your question, you are being protected. And that makes me feel like what's being pointed to is a little bit more like coming from the spiritual dimension. So like synchronicities, pay attention to synchronicities happening. Pay attention to messages that seem like they're coming very randomly. Even from a stranger, or something you read, or something you see on TV, and then you hear the same thing in a podcast like 2 hours later. Like, where are those kind of strange aligned occurrences, and what is that pointing to you? And something about that, it has also something to do with like some protection around you. Diligence, sorry. This feels like that pulling back to observe. And a bird is a message to me. Pull back, observe, be aware of messages coming in, be diligent about doing that. If it connects to you that you need to be diligent in something in your question further than what I've said, that's, up to you. But the sense I'm getting is like you need to be diligent about watching for the synchronicities and messages and pulling back from life a little in order to be able to do that well. And maybe you're being protected to be able to do that as well. Okay, let's look at your third card, Success. That's beautiful. But again, it's like, the jaguar to me is like a very... Is this a jaguar or a black panther? Either way, these big cats, they stalk, they observe, they wait. So to me, I feel like patience. And to me, this is also indicating that if you don't end up getting the answer that you want, if you get a no or a maybe, it's because you're being protected, and it's because some messages coming in synchronicities happening, messages coming in for you. As you kind of pull back and stalk and wait and observe, it's like you're going to notice something else that you're like, oh, I think that was the wrong question. This is what I'm after. This is more aligned. This is what I need to, this is the thing that's my prey, not what I asked about. But if you get a yes, this is, just assuring success and that you're protected in getting that yes and success. But also with the no, if you get the no or the maybe and you end up finding something that slightly alters what you're focusing on, that will have success. So even if you get a no, there's some success waiting for you. So that's in itself really positive. Okay, let's do some tarot confirmation cards. I'm feeling that one. Ooh, High Priestess. I feel like your higher self is part of what's protecting you. I do get the sense like, with the lightning here, that like there are kind of like spirit guides here. But I think that pulling back, that tuning into a sense of feeling protected might help you to feel safe to drop into your higher self, into your intuition, and pull, find whatever, the energy and perspective you need that helps you to kind of pull back and take that more observational stance, where you kind of have to trust your intuition and what you see. But your higher self is part of what is also protecting you. And I think it really turns on, that higher self is allowed to turn on more and more the more you feel like bigger things protecting you as well. Okay, so Four of Wands is also like a really successful card, like something to celebrate is coming in. So I just, absolutely get the sense that no matter your answer, something beautiful is about to happen. But you need to be on the watch out for it and maybe diligent in feeling feeling close to others in your life, feeling positive about life, feeling loving about life. Something about channeling that kind of mentality and being diligent about it is also kind of bringing a certain quality to the, I think no matter what, some kind of success is coming here, but the quality of feeling and really connecting to that success is a little bit up to you, tapping into really like positive mindset. Okay, positive other people too. And then Page of Swords. Does feel like some new idea is coming. So for those of you that end up with a no or a maybe, it's like we got the owl here, some kind of maybe, I don't think it's a seagull because it's over land, but kind of seagull-ish kind of bird. But one that can go high and really catch currents. But that bird theme, let's see. Yeah, those are flowers. That bird theme is like, a message is coming, and this one's giving insight that there may be a new idea on its way, a different mentality, a new idea, a new spark, but something that's very inspiring, something that's very like a very different, unique, fun, exciting idea is on its way. Something fresh. I do get that sense of all the cards, something fresh is coming. So even if you don't end up with a yes, there's still something beautiful and fresh and protected and successful coming in here. So before we even get into the yes, no, maybes, it's just like such a positive read of like, yeah, well, whatever happens here, you're getting a really beautiful outcome. It just may not be what you have in mind exactly. But let's get into that and we'll see. For some of you, it may be a yes to specifically what you asked, but for some of you, it may be a no that allows you to get a yes in a much more fresh way. Okay, so for the way that I read, I love there to be different potential outcomes because it's a collective reading. So I am creating 3 piles within this pile, and you guys are going to tune into these piles and choose the one that feels like it has your aligned message. And then I'll give you some time with that, but before, let me just explain the process. Once you've chosen your pile, and then I come into reading for each pile, it'll be kind of a really clear, short process. I'm going to roll a 12-sided dice where 1 through 5 is no, 6 and 7 is maybe, and 8 through 12 is yes. So we'll get your exact message, and then we will reveal your card to get some insight into why you got the answer you got. So I am going to give you about 10 seconds to tune in to these 3 piles and feel which one is drawing you in, which means it has your aligned answer. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, we will start with pile 1. So let's roll your dice. And you guys have a 6, so there's a maybe here. Certain things are still shifting and changing. Maybe it's that the messages coming through it's like maybe you've gotten part of the messages, but there's still some messages coming through. There's still some little things shifting that you need to observe. You got dear, trust, approach the situation with a light heart. And beyond the trust, I'm feeling this open-mindedness needed. Like trusting in the universe and keeping an open mind, because there's still some things shifting that just be open to shifts in how you're looking at this question. Because I feel like even if the question itself ends up getting a yes, there's just like something you need to see more of about this, something you need to have deeper trust in, but like a message to help you have that. And if you end up getting a no, it just means that like a message is still coming in that will shift how you're even thinking about this question. Okay, let's move to pile 2. Let's roll your dice. Whoops. And you guys got a 9, so that is a yes for you guys. And let's look at your card, Panther, which we saw in the first part of the reading, and this says protection, which we also saw. Whoa, that's weird. Consider who you allow to take your energy and who you give it away to freely. Yeah, I'll let you each interpret it how that connects for you, but you're still getting a yes. Maybe you need to have some, but in getting your yes, you may realize something about your boundaries, how you hold certain boundaries with certain people. And there's protection around you in getting this yes that may deliver certain insight into you. It's like you're being helped to understand how you need to protect yourself, what kind of boundaries you need to hold with certain things and people. So something is doing that a little bit for you in order to sort of like mentor and help you to start to do it for yourself here. Yeah, so, but still a yes, so beautiful. Okay, pile 3, let's get your answer. And you guys got a 2, which is a no. But let's look at your card first. So Lion, honor your soul and celebrate its journey. So, I mean, a lion to me is so guaranteed success and victory and glory. So it's like there is something, for all across the board, but just specifically for pile 2, since there's a no here, it's like just that reminder that like something is coming in where you are going to have success. And so you're being protected and getting a no to whatever you ask, because something, it's like different messages are coming, something more fresh is about to spark in your brain, in your mind, in your heart, whatever, that's going to help you to channel that lion-like quality that then gets a yes in that new thing and that fresh thing that comes in. But you're being protected to get a no here because you're still waiting for that fresh, something more fresh to spark here. But also like more aligned, where it's like, my sense is like whatever you asked about, you don't know how to be a lion to go and get the yes, but like whatever that new thing is that sparks and comes in, it's like you immediately know exactly what you feel that regal, magnanimous, ferociousness ability in, and it's just like much easier. You're much more turned on about it. So yeah, you're being protected for something more fresh to come in and more connected to your victorious self. Okay, that is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that there was good insight for you, and I hope whatever outcomes you got had some resonance for you. If so, I always appreciate all the supports, like likes and shares and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments. But regardless, just grateful that you guys are here and allowing me to read for you. It's something I really enjoy, so thank you. And thank you for supporting my channel just by being here as well. So yeah, have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I hope to see you in future readings.